Okay, dear students, as I said, this is the continuation of the previous lesson. And please take out your books, class book, page 72, and let's listen to the text that's famous shipwrecks. Okay, let's listen together. And
Listening 57. Listen and read.
Famous shipwrecks. Sailing can be dangerous, and many ships and boats have sunk, and there are many ships lying at the bottom of the sea in oceans all over the world. Studying shipwrecks is important to historians, because shipwrecks contain clues about what life was like at the time that they sank. The Atocha was a Spanish ship that sank in a terrible hurricane in 1622. It was carrying gold, silver, and jewels. People were sent to get the treasure because it was very valuable. However, the ship was lying more than 16 meters under the sea. At the time, it was very difficult to dive down so far. Then, in the same year, there was another hurricane, and the shipwreck was destroyed, and the treasure was lost. The treasure lay lost beneath the sea for over 360 years. In 1969, a man called Mel Fisher started to search for the treasure. This time, divers had proper equipment. After 16 years, he found the parts of the wreck and most of the treasure. He put the treasure in a museum in Florida, where you can see it now. The Titanic was a passenger ship built in 1911. It was called the Unsinkable Ship because of its amazing design. No one believed it could sink. On the 10th of April 1912, Titanic left England for New York City on its first voyage. 4 days later, the ship hit an iceberg in the Atlantic Ocean. The ship sank, and over 1,000 people drowned. For a long time, underwater explorers searched for the missing wreck. In 1985, they discovered it 4 kilometers beneath the surface. The ship was broken, and it was impossible to move. But they were able to examine the ship and bring back thousands of items such as clothes and letters and other personal things. These things have helped historians understand more about the people who sailed on Titanic.
okay, listening is done, but please, if you have the CD, try to listen again and read 2 or 3 times, please. And there are about 2 shipwreck, Atocha and Titanic, and you see the underlined words, and please try to highlight and write down in your notebook. And let's do the activity, the first exercise, this one. Read and do the exercise 3. Read and write Atocha or Titanic. The first one, it sank in 1622, that's done, Atocha. It only sailed once, that's Titanic. And number 3, it had lots of treasure inside, Atocha, because it was about treasure, but Titanic was about a passenger. And it was sailing in the Atlantic, Titanic. It was built in 1911, Titanic, and it was lost for over 360 years, that's Atocha. Please, let's go to the next page that I gave you, this one as a homework about the words, exercise 1. It will be your homework, please try to do it. And this exercise, I'm gonna play the CD again. This one, listen again and choose. But I did it for you, just let's check with the listening part. And that's...
Listening 58. Listen. What ship is the man talking to the children about? Welcome on board the Titanic Museum. Here is a ticket. On the ticket, you will see the name of a passenger on the Titanic. Look at the name carefully. At the end of the tour, you can find out what happened to that person. When the Titanic was built, it was the largest, tallest and most beautiful ship in the world. When it sank, it was on its first voyage.
How many people were on the Titanic?
There were 2,228 people on the ship, but only 705 people survived.
Only 705 people survived? That's less than half the people. Why didn't more people survive?
The reason is that the ship only had 20 lifeboats. This was half the number they needed for all the passengers. No one ever thought the Titanic could sink, so they didn't think they needed more than 20 lifeboats. On the 14th of April, at night, the Titanic hit an iceberg. It sank 2 hours and 40 minutes later. It sank to the bottom of the sea.
Did divers explore the shipwreck?
No, it is too deep. They sent a submarine down, which was controlled by a robot. They found more than 2,000 things from the ship, including letters, suitcases, and clothes. Here you can see if you look very...
Okay, and listening is done. Just we check the children are at a museum, not in their school, and to the children are given a ticket. It has a It has a passenger name on it. Then there were dash people on the Titanic, 2,228, and there were how many people were survived? 705 people that survived after the shipwreck, and 5 the Titanic sank 2 hours and 40 minutes as we had the listening the track after it hit the iceberg. And more than 2,000 things were found from the Titanic, including one of them was letters. So the next exercise 4, it's about you. But would you like to be an underwater explorer? Choose one of them. Yes, I would, or no, I wouldn't. Or how would you feel if you were deep underwater? I'd feel excited, frightened, nervous, or amazed. Choose one of them, please. What would you like to see? I'd love to see an octopus, a shipwreck, treasure, lots of fish. One of them. And the last one, what other places would you like to explore? I'd like to explore the desert, space, or the rainforest. Why? Because I like looking at animals, the stars, and the moon, or interesting plants. This one from page 73, please, and page 74 is your homework. Read this one, please, for the next lesson. 74 and 75 the quiz is your homework too. Please try to do the quiz. This one is your homework. Okay, I'm gonna check. Thank you for today's lesson.